I am a firm believer that girls should never pay on dates, and this is something that I've thought from when I was in high school. And it's safe to say I've never paid for a date unless it was like a gift for a birthday or something like that. However, I have done some really dumb shit when it comes to dates. So let's talk about this one time that I went on a date and I had to pay gas money.
I've never paid for a date either. I've never been asked to split the bill, but that's not because I argued back or fought a man that asked me to try and avoid paying, but simply because I've never been asked, and I'm not the type to jump on my feet and insist and ask the man to split the bill with him. I just stay in my seat silent with a smile on my face, a grateful smile. And if he pays the bill, I'm happy and we move on. We talk about other things. And that's what happened in the past. Now, if someone asked me to split the bill with them or to pay in some way, shape or form, I would have probably paid. I'm not going to argue back with a man. I'm not going to force him. I'm not going to beg him to pay for my food and my meal or whatever that was. I'd rather just pay. And then if I want to eliminate him, never see his face again, I can still do that. But like I said, the reason I've never paid before is because I've never been asked before, and I'm not the type to jump on my feet and insist and become masculine all of a sudden. I don't do that. If asked, I can still pay, like I explained, but I don't usually like to be masculine. That's why I don't insist on paying, or I don't even talk about the bill or discuss it in any shape, way, or form. If I ever get asked, I will make sure to pay and to leave, and perhaps I'd never see that person again. But I won't argue back. I won't fight him. I won't beg. I've seen many viral TikToks of girls doing that in the middle of the date, on top of the invoice or the bill, whatever you want to call it. They're arguing with the guy or trying to convince him. That's not the moment to change that man's mind. It's not the right time.
It was the craziest thing that has ever happened to me to this day when it comes to dates. It was the funniest date ever because, first of all, I had to sneak out the house. Like, my parents are not letting me go on a date, so I pretended I was going on a study date. So I had to put on like my conservative clothes and then take off my jacket when I was with him, but it was summertime, so he was like, why are you wearing a jacket? Oh, and he had to pick me up like a couple houses down the street. You know how it goes. Like, I had to walk down the street to get him, and he was like, I thought you lived at this house.
That's a red flag. I know it's out of topic. It's out of context too, because today's video should focus on the fact that this poor girl apparently had to pay gas money to her date to even see him. On top of that, she's doing all of this to even be able to meet with him. She's hiding from her parents. She's sneaking out. She's lying about the reason why she's going out. And on top of that, she has to pay the guy. And it looks so desperate and wrong. This is another reason why I don't like men that make girls pay. They force you to become masculine. They pull you out of your feminine energy. They literally force that on you. If you want to be petty, of course, there are so many other things that you can tell them, and you can count how many things you pay for and how many more expenses you have compared to any man. I'm sure you have to buy makeup, you have to buy devices to straighten or dry or curl your hair, you have to buy many nice outfits, you have to buy high heels, you have to do so many things, you have to do your nails, pedicure, manicure, all that. So clearly, I believe that women spend more money to even be presentable when going on a date. But who's gonna get petty and talk about all of this when a man asks you to split the bill? You're just gonna do it. Like I said, you don't have to see his face again. You pay for your share and you leave.
Everything is cool. We go get the pizza. He gets the bigger size, which I was like, oh, okay, you got it like that. You got the bigger size. And by the way, I was literally like, I think 17 during this. The conversation is going really well. And then randomly he drops the ball on me. We're in the middle of eating our pizza and he's like, would you mind paying me gas money? Like, I had to drive pretty far, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, maybe like, you know, he just doesn't got it like that. So I was like, sure. So I gave him like, I think it was $10 in 2 5s. And that comes in handy later.
See, this is the sad thing about every dating story that I watch or comment on. Women will adjust to anything. They will accept anything. They always try and normalize things in their minds. They give excuses. They say, it's all right, it's okay, no matter what men do. Some men say they even forgot their wallet. They make the girl pay for the date. Others say, like, I've been through so many different stories now that I have this channel and now that I make this type of content. And I truly don't understand why so many people think that women are so demanding and they are very arrogant. It's true, maybe a minority is. I'm not saying we're all perfect, but at the same time, What I've seen is that most women will try and normalize and brush off any red flag or any mistake or something, even catastrophic behavior will be forgiven and excused just because they are trying their absolute best in their head, in their mind, to normalize what this guy is doing. They just want to have a good time. They just want to have a good date. Clearly, this guy is in the wrong. You can't ask the girl that you asked on a date for gas money. She's not your mommy. She's not your daddy. That's your own problem. I don't go on a date and then tell the guy, in order for me to even look presentable today, and I take a paper and a pen and start listing the things I've done. I've done my nails day before yesterday in preparation for this. I've done my toenails. I've done my hair. I went to the hair salon for that. I've done my eyelashes. I went and waxed my entire body, arms and legs, because I'm going to be wearing this expensive dress. If I count all these things and I make a list and hand it to the guy and tell him this is what it cost me to show up looking like this today, he will be baffled. He will think I'm insane. Like I said, if I take a paper and a pen and create this invoice in front of his eyes and then turn around and tell him you have to contribute towards all of this because this is what it took for me to show up looking like this and be presentable for this date, he will think that I lost my mind and he wouldn't like it. Even if he was a billionaire, this will still be a deal breaker for him, because this is not just about money. This is about manners, about having respect, about being civilized, about knowing what's wrong and what's right. He will think this woman will interrupt us, will not let us have one good moment if we ever get together, because she will be trying to charge me for every single breath that I take. She will be just worried about money 24/7, trying to charge me for every little penny. And like I said, it's not about money. Even if he could afford to pay me, he won't, because he will think that I'm crazy and that I'm being difficult and that I am not a good match as a result of acting in this way.
Everything goes great. He drops me off at the school, like the local school that was 10 minutes from me, because I had told my parents actually that I had some after school activities that I was at school, and we say our goodbyes, and he's like, when can I see you again? And I was like, you know what? Like, I actually liked going with you regardless of the gas money, which I would never do that again. But I was like, okay, whatever. Like, that was just a small mishap. Like, I would like to see you again. He tells me the story again about like the gas money. And in my head, I'm like, why is he telling me this story again? The hourglass powder. Oh my God. I love it. So I'm confused because he's now told me the story twice. I was like, okay. And then he asks me for gas money again. What? I just gave you $10, like in fives. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, no, you only gave me $5. Like, you owe me $5 more.
Arguing over $5 on a first date is a bad look. It's not cool. It's wild, in fact. And I don't care how old he is or how old the two of you were at that time, because if he's old enough to take a girl on a date, he's old enough to know to be a gentleman. And let's say he's broke, like you said, or he's young. He's probably not working. It's probably his parents' money. That's all okay, but you gave him the money, right? You gave him whatever money he asks for, and you forgave that. You showed interest in him. You said that you want to meet him again. And then he goes back to the topic of gas money and he wants to squeeze another $5 out of you. I think at this point, the guy is trying to make a profit out of this date. He's not just trying to get gas money anymore from you. This guy is a lost case at this point. He insists on shooting himself in the foot. He just doesn't get it. The girl forgave the fact that you even asked her for gas money. She gave it to you. Now you should move on. If anything, you should be the one trying to quickly change the topic of discussion and move to other things and make her forget that you just took cash from her. You just came for a girl's money. Because no matter how young you are as a man, she's also that young, if not younger. She doesn't work either. It's probably, like I said, her parents' money too. And like I explained many times before, girls by default have more expenses when it comes to looking presentable in comparison with men.
I'm like, I gave you 2 5s. Like, are you really arguing with me over $5 right now, trying to gaslight me into giving you $5 extra? Like, you could have just asked me for 15. And I wasn't letting up. And he was like, okay, maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe you did give it to me, haha, but I would like to see you again. Needless to say that I didn't see him again in that manner. We didn't go on any more dates. That was it for me. I think about that time to time, like, what kind of audacity did he have for him to try to gaslight me into giving him $5 more? Ever since then, I haven't paid on a date or paid for gas money, because what kind of absurd shit is that?
So that's it for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe. And again, if you are a single woman actively and strategically dating for marriage, don't forget to join my community. You will find the link for it in the description box under this video. I'm pretty sure it will help you in your dating for marriage journey and can provide a lot of support, guidance, and advice. So I will see you there. Bye.